All right, just a few short years ago, I was in a job that I hated. I was always away, always gone, always training, always deployed, always away from my family. And guys, I wasn't making very much money. In this video, I'm gonna talk to you about how to make an extra $4,000 a month in passive income. And you can do like I did, hopefully you can do like I did, and quit your job. All right, I got several points to unpack during this video. Like, what in the world does passive income even mean? And exactly what I did to earn an additional $4,000 per month in passive income. And I'm gonna give you the exact steps to do it. All right, so I did a little searching around on the internet for passive income. And apparently this is kind of a made up word in the real estate industry. So I was able to find dictionary.com or meridian.com actually, the definition of passive, and then I had to do income. So I had to actually separate it out. But here's what passive means according to meridian.com is lacking energy or lethargic, or tending not to take an action or dominant part, or induced by an outside energy, not active or operating inert, and then of or relating to the use of the sun's energy to produce heat, and a passive solar house. Basically, like, summed all this up to be is passive just like happens like without us putting too much energy into it and things just happening automatically. Now, let's go to income. You know, income, a gain or recurrent benefit usually measured in money that derives from capital or labor. Next is the amount such gain received or a period of time has an income of $30,000 per year. So if you add those two, passive and income, you know, getting $30,000 a year without putting much energy into it. That's like my best definition of passive income. All right, now let's get on to answering the question of how to make an additional $4,000 per month in passive income. My channel was real estate, my channel was land investing. You can do this with houses, you can do this with just about almost anything. I wanna give you a couple, you know, examples of how I started, how I created my additional $4,000 a month in passive income that allowed me to ultimately think about quitting my job and leaving the military to where I could be home more often with my family and my children. So let's talk about that first land deal that I did. This is the one that it didn't ultimately give me passive income, but it gave me proof of concept and allowed me to realize this was real. So I was going down the road searching for answers, listening to every podcast I can listen to on 2X until I found something that fit me. And I came across a guy, you know, he was talking about buying all this land at like tax auctions, and he was literally paying pennies on the dollar for this land. And overnight, he was basically selling this land for like a 3x return. So if he would buy it for $1,000, he would sell it for a quick $3,000. And I'm telling you, like, to make an extra $2,000 profit an hour would have changed my life. So I was like all in. So I went down to the county treasurer's office and I was like, okay, you know, I want to know about the people that are behind on their taxes, the people that aren't paying their taxes for their land. Well, they said, well, I don't know about that, but we have a list, it's coming out, yada, yada, it comes out in October. And I was like, well, I don't want to wait until October. I want to know the people that have not been paying their taxes on their land or their houses or their property in the last couple years. So they said, okay, great. So they gave me this scanned version of this PDF document, and it was like schedule numbers. I had no clue what to do with it. And luckily the lady was kind enough to say, hey, you plug it into the assessor's office, you can get the owner's name, their mailing address, and you had to figure it out from there. So I got some help with that because that was like baffling to me because this was like over 600 pages of these schedule numbers. But how do you eat an elephant? Like one bite at a time. But most people don't say like where to start. You know, start at the tail. You gotta start at the tail end and just keep inching up. Me and my virtual assistant, this girl was in the Philippines and I paid her $5 an hour to help me start scrubbing this list. And I couldn't do it. I was working 13 hours a day for the Army, plus I had a brand new baby and I wasn't getting much sleep at night. It was just like crazy bananas going on in my household too. So I had to get help to do this. So one by one, we got the information, we got the contact information, and ultimately we got a list of 687 records. And these records were all land that were behind on their taxes. Now, granted, this did not happen overnight. This was like a several week process of getting this list scrubbed. So I sent it to a mailhouse And if you want to know that mail house that I use, go to landofferletter.com. The link is below in the description, and you can get the exact mail house that I use. I sent them a postcard, and this postcard, I'll even give this to you as a free gift. This postcard said simply, "Hey, my name is Brent. I'd like to buy your land at 123 Main Street," if it had an actual address. Most of the time they don't. "I'd like to buy your land, and if you're interested in a fair cash offer, call me." Well, I sent out 687 postcards. Out of the 687 that I sent, my phone rang 85 times. 85 different people called me. Well, I mentioned how busy I was, right? With my family and my job. I only had time to return about 20 of these phone calls. And out of these 20 phone calls, I did 2 deals within about 3 weeks' time of when that mail went out. The first deal, I told you it didn't produce the passive income yet, but it gave me proof of concept. That first deal, I paid $285 and sold the land like overnight to a realtor for $5,000. How did I find this realtor that wanted to buy the land? It was literally by chance. I called the real estate office next to the land. I said, "Hey, what's the 30-day blowout price? What can I sell this property for? Like, what price can I sell it for? Like, quick, get it done now price." And she told me about $10,000. And here I am about to buy it for $285. Well, I hung up with her. I thanked her for her time, hung up, said I'd call her back. Well, she called me back within about 5 minutes and said, "Hey, Brent, I'd like to buy the land from you." And I said, "Great. Like, what are you offering?" She said, $5,000. I said, "When can you close?" She said, "I can close on Wednesday." I'm like, 4 days from now? Because it was a Saturday. Like, I was literally checking out this land on a Saturday. And she said, "Yes, 4 days from now." So I said, "Great, let's do it. Send me the contract." By Wednesday, I was paid a check for $5,000. This gave me proof of concept. This gave me a net profit of over $4,500. I would have had to work for a solid month in the military for that much money. And I just made it within a few short hours. Let's talk about deal number 2. And I promise you, I'm going to give you that postcard that I used to get these sellers for this land. All right, before I get into that second deal, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm giving you great content here, and I come out with this 5 days a week, and I'm going to walk you through step by step of how to build a passive income, how to buy and sell land, how to buy it at massive discounts and sell it for premium retail prices and build up your passive income to well over $4,000 a month. That was just the question for this video. You can go so much further than that. All right, let's get on to deal number 2. Deal number 2, I bought within about a week later from a sweet lady. She was pushing 90. She lived in Denver, Colorado. She sold me this land for $500. Her husband bought it like many years ago. He was actually a day trader for the stock market, and he picked up this piece of land for like nothing. Well, she had no problem selling it to me for $500. Well, once again, I had another piece of land. I didn't really know anything about it. I knew it wasn't accessible because it was surrounded by state land. So I put that Craigslist out on a Saturday night, and I had a buyer by Sunday. What did my Craigslist ad say? One, it had awesome photos. I went out and took photos of the land that day. I was like speed of action. Like, I had to get my $500 back. I was broke back then. Like, I had just had a brand new family. We just bought a house. We moved across the country with the military. And by the way, like, I know nothing about this market, but I went and took photos, put the photos on Craigslist. I said $500 down. I'll hold payments each month for $400 a month, 0% interest, which I don't recommend doing that anymore. I get anywhere from 9 to 12% interest on all my loans now, but you live and learn. Each one of them evolves into something else to where you improve your business and improve your structures. So $500 down, $400 a month, 0% interest, and I disclosed the fact that you couldn't access the land legally. Like, you didn't have a way to get to it without going across the state land. Well, I had a buyer by Sunday morning. He brought me $500 cash, and we did a contract for deed, basically saying that he is going to pay me $400 a month until the $5,000 purchase price is reached. This guy paid me off in like almost 8 months because he would sometimes bring $400 in 1 month, and then the next week would go by and he'd bring me an additional $100. This guy was like paying it down, which I had no clue why. I was giving him a loan at 0% interest, but I was fine because that gave me my first $400 a month passive income. Now multiply this by 10. I just did 2 deals within a 3-week time frame. I mean, let's just say that I only do 1 of these a month for $400. It only took $500. I got my money back right out of the deal. I had no risk. Multiply that by 10, that gives me $4,000 a month in passive income that I didn't have to do hardly anything for. And total time combined, because I used a virtual assistant to help me scrub this list. I mailed this list. Total time combined, I might have had 5 hours total locked up in both these deals, and that included drive time. All right, as promised, that postcard that I used, this postcard has brought me in millions of dollars in gross revenue. If you go below, there's a link in the description, www.thelandsharks.com/postcard. This is the exact postcard that I use, and I already gave you the link to my mailhouse, landofferletter.com. That's also below in the description. If you take this postcard and your list of landowners, whether they be behind on their taxes or wherever you get this list, and send it to the mailhouse, they'll take care of everything else for you and get your phone ringing, doing deals. Guys, as you know, the real estate market is exploding. I've got a tried and true method of buying over 280 something parcels of land at maximum discounts and selling this land. If you're interested in checking that out and building a business that serves you, your family, and others, head over to thelandsharks.com. It's also below in the description, and schedule a call with me and my team. We'll see what your real estate goals are, and if we're a great fit, I'd be honored to coach you.